Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to my testing of the brand new mod, Sim State, where a sim can run a business in either a community lot or a residential lot. You'll need to read up on the full mod details and instructions elsewhere. I think it's all set out on Mod The Sims. There's also lessons on the mod which you'll need to be aware of if you want to get started with this, and those lessons are under lessons, and they've scrolled down to find the Sim State lessons. They're in the game itself. Now these are the Sims that are in the household, my active household. From left to right, there's Carla, she's a genie. Then there's Monty, who's a witch. Alfina, who owns the bakery, or owns the businesses that I've set up and tested. So Alfina is a fairy, and the one on the end is Kenny, and he is a werewolf, and he's the only one who works outside. He is in the culinary career. I thought I'd like to try to get that fridge reward with him. I don't think it'll happen for a long time though, but he is going to work at the cafe in town, not in Alfina's business. Carla and Monty may eventually be hired by Alfina when her business has grown sufficiently for her to be able to hire extra help. Initially, she hires a townie, and that townie was the sim you saw eating on the front cover of this video. You will see her when she comes to work as well, of course. Her name, I think, was Hazel. Yeah, my interest in this video was because I built a few bakeries early on when the bakery set was first released, and I really wanted my Sims to be able to live above the bakery. But when I did that, the business didn't work, and when I put the business on a community lot, then the Sims couldn't live above. I built the residences above, but it just never worked for me. And then when I saw this mod was being made, I decided I would test it out. And I've tested it in two of my bakeries. One of them is on a residential lot, and the other is on a community lot. And in the end, for me personally, I strongly prefer the one on the residential lot. I found that a lot more fun for me to play that game. But I'll still show you the video on both of them. Both of the lots are available in my studio and the Sims 3 Exchange. I placed each of them in a different game, but in both games they were in sunlit tides, but on different lots. I would strongly advise that you lock all of the doors to rooms or locations on the site that you do not want customers to go into, because they will go everywhere and use everything. I'll step you through the first few steps to set up the business. This took me ages to work out how to do this. I needed to read the lessons, and even then it took me ages. In the beginning, you will open up a game in whatever world you choose and place or build your lot wherever you decide you'd like to place it, and then add your chosen Sims. Now, if the lot's already built and furnished, you will need to make sure they buy it as a furnished lot, or you could find yourself spending a lot of time adding all sorts of things to it. When Sims start arriving at the lot to buy objects from your shop, you will want them in the store part of it. If the lot has any sort of a residence attached to it, that is where everybody will tend to go. Your shop part will be completely devoid of customers, because they'll all be in the residence or the part where you don't want them to be, enjoying the facilities, talking to each other, watching TV, reading books, dancing, sleeping, eating, whatever, anything but go shopping, which is what you want them to do, and nothing gets sold. You just get really annoyed. So I find the best thing to do is lock all of the doors before anybody arrives to shop. The only doors to leave unlocked would be doors that the Sims would need to go through to enter the shop to buy things, or to use any restrooms provided for them. Now, I made a big mistake. I set the main door that they came through as the front door, and as a result, they all stood there and rang the doorbell, and when my Sim didn't answer the door and invite them in, they left. So don't set any of the doors to the shop as the front door, or you won't have any customers, I've discovered to my dislike. Wasted a whole day's advertising. Now let's begin setting up our business. First of all, you need to have a computer. Once you get to the computer, the first thing you need to do is click on the screen and choose real estate, become a business owner. And then you've got to pay the $1,000 and give the business a name and a description. And once you've done that, you will have to deposit some money in your business. So here it is. I'm giving her business a name, Alfina's Cafe and Gift Shop, and a type of business is cafe and gift shop. And now she's got the business. Then you need to give your business some money. I chose 10,000 simoleons. You'll use this money for advertising, probably other things as well. I think staff payments come out of this as well. It's 1,000 simoleons a week for online advertising and 5,000 simoleons a week for TV advertising. It's up to you if you advertise or not. You might choose to just do one or the other. It's probably best to have the computer somewhere convenient. This computer is upstairs in the residence because there are some things that you need to click on the computer to do. With the computer you need to click on more and then manage business, and you'll be given some options to deposit funds or advertise or close the business, etc. Other things you need to click on the cash register to do, and other things you need to click on to the employee to do. And sometimes it gets a bit confusing, but I'm sure once you've got used to it, it'll be quite straightforward. The next thing we're going to do is install the cash register. I want to put the register where that tea set is, so it's going to have to move somewhere. I've already got a Savvy Seller register and a bakery register on the desk. I decided to leave them there because when I'd played the game for a while, I realised that nobody actually stands behind the Sim State register. So you can hire Sims to stand behind the other two registers, and they usually just stand there. So I thought, just for appearance's sake, I will leave those two registers there. It's also interesting to check them every so often to see if they sell anything. I've noticed that the bakery register does tend to record sales. I added those two boxes there as I like to put jams on them, and added a table, and that'll hold the tea set. Now I've got a space and we can go searching for the register. It is in electronics miscellaneous. I think it's the OFB register. It took me a while to find it because I was looking for something that said Sim State, but it doesn't say Sim State. It says open for business. Apart from the changes you've just seen me make, the whole lot is exactly as it is when it is downloaded from the exchange. What I want to do now is set up the bakery items and all of the jams, and then set everything that needs to be set for sale. There's a lot of jams and preserves in the bakery storage racks, and I decided I wanted to have more bakery items for sale. So I got a piece of custom content. It's a collector's rack. It's in storage miscellaneous, and I don't know who made it at the moment. It's obviously in my mods folder, and I'm dragging all of the jams and preserves out of the baker's racks so I can put baked goods in there and hopefully sell more things. It'll be interesting to see if these jams and preserves continue to sell, because while they were in the baker's racks they sold very well. But the baker's racks have Savvy Seller rugs under them, and this collector's rack is not going to have any Savvy Seller rugs under it, so that it'll be a good test to see if the Savvy Seller rugs are being useful at the moment with this mod. I don't think they are. I think the mod is designed to work without the Savvy Seller rugs, and the Savvy Seller register appears to be switched off while the mod is in play. We'll see how it goes when I've moved them into this collector's rack. The little bottles of preserves and jam just fit exactly into the little squares that are available for them. Now I'm going to use the NRAS cupcake mod to set up specific types of baked goods to go into each of the bakery shelves and the bakery display cases. Some of the bakery shelves have got objects on top of them which I do want to sell, but I want to use that space now for baked goods, so I'll be moving those things off the tops of those racks and putting them elsewhere around the shop. Took me a while to find spaces for all of them, but I did it. So I've decided that one in the corner is going to have all of the smothered toast and smothered scones. I thought the scones were funny looking things. They look more like tarts than what we call scones. In Australia, we seem to share the English idea of what a scone is, which seems to be quite different from the American idea of a scone. The scones and the toast, they came with the old meal set. They're what the Sims are supposed to eat when they're having their cups of tea. So this is the cupcake mod that I'm using to get all of this. When I choose the items to go into those racks, I choose a lot more than what there are slots available, so that next time we decide to restock, it will give us hopefully a different set of items. It's supposed to choose randomly from the list that's provided, and I've set all of them to be outstanding quality. The reason I'm doing this is because when I was experimenting with this mod, I found anything that was in a bakery display case or a bakery rack was full of flies and smoking rotten after the first day that the shop was open, because the game isn't deleting the bakery items each night as it is designed to do originally. And the cupcake mod isn't replenishing them. So I think that must have been something that was introduced with this SimState mod. So I've decided that the only way to go is to replace everything, and the only way I could do that was using the cupcake mod menus. And I thought, well, if I've got to do that, I might as well specify exactly what I want, allowing me to actually have items that sort of go together in each of the racks and display cases. I'm still moving jams around. I think I found a whole lot more jams, and I'm needing to find space for the items that are on top of those bakery racks, and I've decided to use those two little end tables that I've got there to hold the jams. So I'm moving those jams and preserves into the display case now, the collector's display case by Listen. It's available at Mod The Sims. Listen 801, I think their name is, the person who made it. Now, I just realised while I was playing initially that these items from the Katy Perry Sweet Treats Stuff Pack, they were selling very well. As a matter of fact, they were being restocked a few times in the day, and I only had one of each in the shop. So I thought, if the customers like them so much, I'll put some extras out. And another thing that was selling well was the little biscuit barrels that came with the bakery set. But I will just let this run. Obviously, I'm going to make it run really, really fast, so you don't have to sit through the actual time it took me to do all this manually. So that's it. All of the bakery items have now been sorted and set up to be easily replaced whenever necessary. Next step will be to set everything to be for sale that is required to be set for sale. We need to use the cash register to get that started. What I'm interested in finding out now with this latest version of the SimState mod is if the items that have been marked for sale actually stay marked for sale over a period of days, because I don't like having to go around the shop marking everything for sale just about every sim day. There's way too much that I've got marked for sale to do that. I decided to check the sales on the Savvy Seller register and also on the bakery register, and they both were 0. I discovered they were protesting against her. I have no idea what that protest was, because by the time I got a chance to try to look at them, I got ripped away because it was the beginning of the game, and guess what had been the Into the Future portal suddenly hauled me away to see where it was. That was just annoying. Now we don't know what the protest was about. But they were all happily clapping when I got back to them, so I have no clue what is going on there. It was all autonomous, and I've never seen this sort of thing before. So let's get on with setting this shop up so it can be ready to open for business. It's a tiny bit annoying that to get a useful response from the Open for Business register, the only sim that can be the active sim when you click on it must be an employee of the business. And only Alfina is an employee right now because she owns the business. To start setting things for sale, you need to choose Toggle Set for Sale on the cash register menu, and then start clicking all of the items that you want to have set for sale. And when you choose the menu Set for Sale, when you click on them, they will turn green, indicating that they have been set for sale. Now, apparently, the theory is if you choose Toggle for Sale and you look around the room and you see everything is green, then that means that they are all successfully set for sale and you need do nothing more about it. Unfortunately, that turns out not to be the case when you're actually playing the game, because once they've been set for sale, they will stay green unless they're sold, and then once they've been sold, they'll go red. I'm not too sure if you're red-green colourblind how you'll cope with that. The other thing is, if Toggle Set for Sale is off so that they look normal, then items, they have the normal colours. Any items that have been sold will be transparent. You can see through them. But the problem with this idea of if it's green, well then it's been set for sale once you've toggled it for sale, then the problem with that idea is I've discovered that the set for sale goes off, and when you click on them, you can't buy them, you can just view them, which means they're no longer set for sale and your customers can't buy them, but they're still green. So that is really frustrating and annoying. That means you've got to go and check everything. Click on every item that you want to sell. I do it every 2 or 3 days. I just check around and I always find a few that are incorrectly green. There should be some other colour. I didn't set any of the baked goods as set for sale. I left them in the bakery cabinets and relied on the code that was already there for the bakery and the cupcake mod to record their sales. I was surprised though to see that the money that was earned from them actually did turn up. SimState register record of sales. It was a bakery and a gift shop. There wasn't a lot of profit in the food, but so some of the more highly valued items were in the yard. So I marked them all for sale as well. Not everything, but a lot of the smaller stuff and the playground equipment. It turns out that the little green gnomes, the St. Patrick's Day gnomes, they were just sold constantly. A few of the other of these gnomes as well. They're not magic gnomes, but they're gnomes you get from buy mode. I didn't mark any of the magic gnomes as set for sale. I didn't modify any of the costs either. I did notice that a couple of the objects did not have a value as to what they were selling at, and when I tried the modify cost to give it a value, it didn't change, it just stayed null. So I'm not sure what's going on there. There's probably something a bit missing in the code. I don't know where the prices come from. I did check a few of them for their values in buy mode, and I discovered that the sale price in the shop is the same as the sale price in buy mode. And when they were running the shop and restocking things that had sold, I noticed that there didn't seem to be any money coming out of the family funds to cover the cost of replacing the items, but when they were sold, the selling price was being added to the family funds as the game went along. Once the shop starts running and items are being sold and replaced, if the selling price is the same as the buying price, but the buying price is never paid, well then that would be the equivalent of having a 100% markup on items in the shop. But I don't see how you can vary that markup. Now we've marked everything for sale, it's time to hire our first employee, and that will be Hazel Hoffman. I will have no control over her, but the mod forces her to go around restocking and just checking on the shop, talking to the customers. I noticed setting the opening and closing times is fraught with danger. The current opening or closing time does not go into the little message box that pops up, and when you close the little message box without adding time, it will replace the time that was there with a blank space, regardless of if you hit OK or cancel. I've put a chocolate fountain there, which they're going to keep. Customers can come and have a piece of some chocolate just for fun, for free. Bit of an incentive to come and shop here. We've hired a chef, and I'm just setting a menu up here that just a few of the foods that probably don't have available in the bakery shelves. You can call the employees in to work using the cash register, and we've called Hazel in. She's the only employee that's living outside of the household, and she's arrived, and the rest of the household are there having a chat and getting to know her. I'd say the shop must be open now. You can launch the business overview from the cash register. It gives you a summary of the status of your shop. The food synthesizer came with Into the Future. It spawns a waiter on a community lot, but not on a residential lot. So I changed it for another one of those pieces of custom content to store more jams and preserves. Not many customers have arrived, so just check the advertising and discover that it's not been done. So let's go up to the computer upstairs and buy some advertising. We'll get both the online advertising and the TV advertising. We want as many customers as possible, as fast as possible. I've locked all of the necessary doors to make sure that no customers, only household members, can get into the private areas of the lot. That includes gates as well. And hire some attendants for the savvy seller and the bakery registers, just to have somebody standing behind the counter. That's not necessary. If I was to play this game in future, I'd probably not have those two registers. They're just there now for fun. I probably wouldn't have them because I've noticed, particularly on the community lot, those two attendants keep leaving and getting replaced, and every time they get replaced, sometimes 3 or 4 times in the space of a couple of minutes, they charge the business 100 simoleons. The 3 Sims that I want to keep at home to work in the shop eventually, I got them all to join the gardening career. I've discovered that they can be in a career as well as be employed in the shop. I chose the gardening career for a couple of reasons. One is it'll keep them at home. 2 is we might need to make some more preserves, and if they're working in the garden, they can pick stuff from the garden to make preserves. And if they need extra money, they can sell their produce at the greenhouse. And if they're in a career, they've got a job, and the game isn't going to be continually trying to put them into a job. Up to this point, everything I've done would be the same for either type of lot, a community lot or a residential lot. But from here on, I'm going to show you, firstly, my residential lot with the customers. I'm going to speed it up a lot as well so you can get a good feel for what's going on. And then I will show you the same thing with a few extra comments on the differences with the community lot. So I've only done bakeries. Look, she just bought something there. I've only done bakery gift shop combinations in both instances. So if you're wanting a different type of business, well, I think it'll probably be just the same as the gift shop side of things without the bakery attached. But I'm sure you can work things out for yourself from there on. This is the very first day of trading, so there's not too many customers. I have advertised. It makes a big difference if you advertise or not. But the customers are going around the garden looking at the various things that are for sale. Now I've got to bring my Sims home. They've found the swimming pool by the look of it. So I'll speed it up now and just see what happens with the customers. What I do is I click on the cash register regularly just to check the business information. I'm gradually getting a handle on what it all means. It's really just a way of keeping track. The only important thing to notice is the rank of the business. As that gets higher, you can start employing more people in your shop. Look at the grass on the lower left side of the screen. Remember that Sim just bought something in that area? Well, it's a wheelbarrow full of flowers or harvestables or something. It's a decor item. Now, Alfina, my business owner, she's about to come out to it and restock it. So if you just keep an eye on that area, it's just on this side of the yellow flowers. You can see the pathway there when the yellow flowers, just this side of the pathway. You can still sort of see what was purchased because it's see-through. But when she comes out and restocks it, you will notice that it becomes solid object again, and I've just told her to restock it. And when she comes out, you'll see it reappear. Here she comes. There she is. She's in the process of restocking. She's got her little board out to write it all down. And there it is. It's now been restocked. But you never see any money coming out of the family funds when they restock, but you do see money going in when things are sold. There is Hazel, the other employee, just turned up there. She goes around restocking things as well. She does it autonomously because I can't control her. Those two Sims behind the cash registers, they are the two that I hired. The cash register on the left is a savvy seller register, and the other one is the bakery register. I think once I start playing this game for real, I will not hire them. I'll remove those two registers. So that's Hazel in the pale yellow talking, and that's a customer now with the long black hair. I'm really happy with the way it works in this build, because this is how I intended it to work when I first built this lot, and I've never been able to get it to work properly. I did try another object once that attracted customers, but it attracted the whole town, and I was in a much bigger world at that time, and it took all that night, all the sim night, to get everybody to go home. I obviously set it up with the wrong settings. That's the water wheel there. It's the old mill set that you get the water wheel with. And all those tables with the cups and saucers that they can serve themselves tea. I eventually set it up with the closing time at 8 p.m. I started at 6 p.m, but then I changed it because I noticed a lot of Sims come in after 6 to buy food. And when I was playing on the community lot, I found that the busiest time for my community lot for selling things was at night. After the lights went out, all the homeless Sims seemed to come in. The paparazzi and all the other homeless Sims would come in and buy food and just spend the whole night there entertaining themselves in the bakery. But at least with this one, the residential lot, it's quiet, sort of. Customers still come in when the store's closed, but they're mainly coming in for food, I think. I don't think they buy much of the other stuff. I know when my sim tries to buy something after the store's shut, the option is greyed out and it says that the store's closed right now. A thing I don't like about it is as soon as the closing time arrives, all of the lights for the entire lot just go out. And then everybody's in the dark and they're complaining about it. That food synthesizer is still there. I'm going to get rid of it. I found a few of the customers were going up to it and getting meals out of it. And I thought, I want them to buy meals from my bakery. I don't want them to just eat out of the food synthesizer. See, now I have got it set for sale. So I can just go around and look, and everything that's green is supposedly set for sale and ready to be sold. Anything that's red will be something that needs restocking. There is a spring rider there that's you can see through and red, so that needs to be restocked. There she is, going to restock it. Get a lot of transportations going on while this mod is in action. The Sims transporting into the shop constantly. And I'll just go around. I do this at night, and it's a one way of occupying myself while all the Sims are sleeping. I'm not going to sell anything in the greenhouse. Sometimes things vanish because you get a thief on the lot. And you can buy a security system. It's one of the business rewards that you can access off the cash register. But I've bought it and you can't see it. I've never had a thief arrive since I bought it. It's supposed to call the police when there's a thief in the store. The problem is, of course, that the thief is not a burglar, so the burglar alarms that come with the game don't have any effect on them. And occasionally you get a mystery shopper and they will grade your shop. And she had a mystery shopper at some point, And she got 92 out of 100 awarded to her, but I don't know what the effect that has on anything other than there's a nice number to look at. Every so often I go around the shop and the outside where everything that has been marked for sale, and I just check to see if my sim has the option to purchase something or if they can only view it. And if they can only view it, well then it's now dropped out of being set for sale, even though it will be green when you toggle set for sale on. So you can't really believe it is actually set for sale. Or someone just bought something. The bee spring rider seems to sell quite regularly. Yeah, when you're supposed to just look and see if it's green or red. If it's red, well then it's been sold. This is when you've got it set, when you've clicked on the cash register and said toggle set for sale. All of the things that have been set for sale should be green, and all of the things that have been sold should be red, and they need restocking. Once they're restocked, then they're green. The problem is everything that you have previously set for sale will be green. But if the set for sale is no longer set, they stay green, but they are no longer set for sale, so they can't be purchased. So I head around the shop. Well, I'm assuming they can't be purchased by the customers. I know none of my sims can purchase them because the only option they get is to view. They don't get a option to buy them at a certain cost. And there are a couple of things that don't have a price. The prices on everything seems to be the same as the price in buy mode. I've noticed the food that's in the bakery shelves, that all seems to sell for 32 simoleons. And the 50 simoleon sales that I get such a lot of, they're outside, and I think they must be those gnomes, even though some of them are 55 simoleons. I don't ever see 55 simoleons pop up as being awarded because something's sold. And when you look at them, that says the price is 55, but I only ever see 50. And I'm selling a lot of those green gnomes, and I see 50 popping up over and over again. So I'm not real sure of how the prices work here, and I haven't yet fathomed how you actually change the markup. And when they restock, I don't see the cost of the item being taken out of the family funds, but I do see when the item sells that the money goes into family funds. But since the price of each item appears to be approximately the same as the cost of buying them from buy mode, which would be the cost of restocking, then I'd say the markup must be about 100%. If you don't have to pay to restock, but you do get to collect the money when they're sold. Because otherwise, if they sold for the same price as what they're available to be bought in buy mode, well then the store would go broke. You wouldn't be able to make any money at all. Especially if those gnomes that cost 55 simoleons to buy from buy mode are only selling for 50. So that, I think, is why it doesn't deduct money when you restock something. There seems to be some things in here that are selling and get restocked, same as the buy mode items, and those things were made by a sim on the inventing machine, the inventing table. I think they've sold at least once and been restocked. They don't sell often. See those little tubs with the hearts things sticking up? That's from Katy Perry Sweet Treats. Originally, I only had one of them in the shop, and it just kept selling maybe 5 or 6 times in a single day. So I thought I'd put a bunch of them in there. And they do sell occasionally, but I'm not selling all of them repeatedly every day. She just restocked something over there. I think you've probably seen enough of this shop in action. We'll go over now to the community lot and see how that works. I won't set it all up again because you've seen how to set it up on this lot, and it's exactly the same. Of course, I could let you see all the video that I've recorded, but that would take you about 5 hours to sit and watch it all. So we'll just chop this off here and go over to the community lot. And it's a smaller bakery, and they won't live in the residence above. They live in a separate house. But the house is nearby. And everything is quite different when we get there. We'll see when we get there. So this is it for the residential lot. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. So here we are back in sunlit tides, but it's a fresh game. And we've got a different bakery on a 30 by 30 lot. This is the house that they live in, just down the road from their bakery. Alfina is still the owner of the bakery, and Kenny is still in the culinary career, so he goes off to work at the local cafe each day. The other 3, well, only one of them to start with is employed in the shop. We've still got Hazel Hoffman as the hired townie who will come in and manage. And now you've seen the house that they live in, a separate house. Let's go to their bakery with some extra. I added some extra gift items. It was originally just the decor items, but I did add some extras around the yard of the bakery to try to emulate the old mill gift shop so we could see how it all works. This shop has got the cafe bar, and the cafe bar attendant just stays there all of the time. He never leaves. That's from university life. And that female sim running around, she is the waiter that was spawned from the food synthesizer that we got rid of in the other shop and replaced with another case of jams. I'm actually just making sure everything is set for sale. I was a little bit disappointed after going through all of this effort and setting everything for sale and saving and coming back the next day and finding, although everything was still green, nothing was set for sale. Set them all for sale again, and they seem to mostly stay set for sale, but it's worse for me. I've discovered for the 2 lots that I've tested, this one and the residential lot that we've just left, the community lot lost the settings for set for sale a lot more often, and more items had the problem than on the community lot than on the residential lot. As you can see, I'm now resetting things for sale because they're all green, and yet for some reason I've still got to set them for sale again. Not all of them, but most of them, but I've got to click on every one of them to check and see if it's set for sale, and if not, set it again. I put that old mill tea table in there because I thought that might attract more customers to the shop because there was virtually nobody turning up. And a few of them did go out the back and have a cup of tea, but not many of them actually stuck around and bought anything in the shop. But things did sell. I think if you wanted a really hard game, to have to work really hard to get your sim to have a reasonably successful business, then the way to go would be run it on a community lot. Yes, I've got all of these bakery shelves all set up using Cupcake Mod as well. But see, this was just my experience of it. The first time I played with this bakery, there were more customers in the shop than the second time I played with it. And actually, I think that the first time I did it, it was in a world where this was the only bakery and shop. And the second time I played it, I had left the old mill tea room and residence on its own lot, and I added this one to this lot just to test what would happen if they were both on the same lot. And I think that possibly could have been what caused the problem. However, just to test, I then turned this into a residential lot and the customers just swarmed in. So that leads me to believe it works much better on a residential lot, because the only change I made to get the customers to come in and buy stuff was to change it from a community lot to a residential lot. This is the upstairs area. They've put that computer up here. The problem with having that up there is some of the household members go up there and play on the computer. Mostly they won't stay on this lot. I'll call them in, I'll tell them to come here, they'll arrive. Sometimes they will stay for a while, but they do always head off home. They don't stay here for more than, a couple of sim hours. You need to keep an eye on the advertising as well. If you haven't advertised, that's the reason why you won't get customers. I just added 10,000 simoleons, checked the advertising. I discovered that on the community lot, the advertising that you've purchased just sits on 7 days for many days at a time. And I don't know if it runs out and your customers stop coming in, or if it just genuinely thinks that it's still got 7 days all of the time. It's a bit dodgy on the residential lot as well, but not that bad. Since advertising calls the customers in, maybe there's a problem with the advertising. Alfina just restocked something, and so yeah, that's another problem that I've noticed. I don't think it's a real problem because we're not getting charged for it, but Hazel's got nothing to do. There's no one buying anything, so she just restocks after Alfina restocks the same item. She also restocks the bakery shelves just the same way as she does items from buy mode. See that woman with the long yellow skirt on? She's a paparazzi. See, the shop is shut now. The first time I played it, I don't know if I've got any video of that. It was just full of homeless Sims and paparazzi, and they were buying food all night. I got my genie to make the shop all clean and sparkly, and all of the bakery items got deleted. So I had to set them again. That's Ambrosia that's smoking there. I turned the lights back on after they went out when the shop shut. I don't think those two actually bought anything from the shop. They just came in to have a cup of tea. She seems to like showing videos to the customers. I think that the little chap's about to order a meal from that waiter, and she will deliver it to him and he'll eat his dinner here. Her food synthesizer's just inside that door she just went through. It's in the hallway, behind the main wall. He's very impressed with what's there, but he's not buying anything. The fridges in the residential area don't work very well. They can only get a quick meal, and they can autonomously put leftovers away, but I can't tell them to put leftovers away. And once the leftovers are put away, I can't tell them to get them out and eat them. Just checking to see if anyone's bought anything from the shop. Those purchases might have been made back in the residential lot. The reason they were buying things was because sometimes when the set for sale drops out, it drops out on one that has been purchased by one of the customers and it hasn't been restocked. It's transparent and it can't be restocked because the set for sale's dropped out. So I have reset it for sale, but it's still transparent. So I have to get my sim to buy it to make it able to be restocked. And that's what I've been doing. And that's why they've got them in their family inventory. So the set for sale is not stable and it's buggy. I've decided to try adding extra bits and pieces to see if that'll get any customers in. I don't think it worked very well because we didn't sell many of these things. I think probably about 1 or 2 items was sold over a few days. Life went on in the shop. Varying numbers of customers came in. Hardly anybody ever went at the back here. They went out to drink tea occasionally, but that was as far as they got. Looks like Alfina's in the shop at the moment. They're just inspecting the bakery goods. Hazel is restocking. I turned it into a residential lot. Look at all those customers that just turned up straight away. Now the other shop is still on its lot at the other end of the island. This is still Sunlit Tides and it's exactly the same shop. All I did, it was the community lot and now it is a residential lot. And the customers are now starting to find their way inside. So the way to get action, if you want it, is turn it into a residential lot. I still think things sold faster and better in the other shop, but it could have been that the lot was so much bigger and I had so much more stuff on it. I never sold very much that I'd put out the back where I put all those gnomes and things and playground equipment. Nothing much of that sold. I think 1 or 2 items. It would need to be played for a few days to realise just how much better it sells as a residential lot. I only played it for a few minutes as a residential lot. So, you know, with an experiment, even the other shop had good days and bad days. So this could have been the best ever, or it might have been the worst ever, or it could have just been an average day once I'd finally turned it into a residential lot. But the customers are coming in and they are definitely buying things because you can see the simoleons floating up when it happens. I think some of the pot plants just sold outside there. And that plus 30, that indicates food, I think. Somebody's bought something from the bakery. Although it's usually 32 simoleons. It's really hard to tell what has sold sometimes. So that's about it. I'm not going to keep playing it. You've probably got a pretty good idea of what I got it to do. Now the challenge is to see what you can get it to do. So thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you've learned anything from it, and greatly appreciated. It took me about a week or 2 to get it done, and I think I will play with this mod, but not in this lot at the moment. I very much prefer the other old mill lot. Alfina's asking for a toggle set for sale to see what has sold. If anything's red and what's green. Nothing seems to be very red there at the moment, does it? It's all green or yellow. The yellow things are not for sale. It's just the green stuff that's for sale. Just checking to see what's been selling. Of course, that green doesn't mean it is marked for sale. It could have dropped out, but that's what I have marked things for sale at some point. And if you'd like to see more of my videos and you haven't subscribed yet, it would be a good idea if you did subscribe and click the bell to make sure that you get notified of whenever I load a new video. I've got a new episode of the 30 Grandchildren badge coming up shortly, but I do have another video that I need to make first, but it's not for this channel, so it'll probably be a week or 2 before I get another 30 Grandchildren episode up. Hazel's being kept busy. Sometimes Hazel will... that was I've got another employee now. Yeah, sometimes one employee will restock something and then another employee will just step in and restock it as well, straight away. Yeah, that other employee, the blonde, she is a part of the household and I keep forgetting her name, but she's a genie and she loves to go upstairs and play on the computer, which really annoys me. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching and I will end it here. It's been long enough. So bye bye for now and happy simming.